I started giving you the overview of unit number 2 of the syllabus on management science. On that day, I spoke to you about the first two subtopics, capacity planning and sequencing of operations. The very next subtopic is maintenance management. In any factory, or I would say in general, in any organization, maintenance is extremely essential, extremely important. So much so that even in your own house, there are so many things which will require repairs from time to time. You have to maintain them. Not only that, maintenance is needed even for human body. Right from the day you were born, you can ask your mom, right from the day you were born, you started falling sick. Sickness is not only limited to old age. As babies also you fall sick. And that time the sickness will be very simple, not very dangerous, but those sicknesses have to be cured. If a baby has a fever, it has to be brought down. If baby is passing motions, that has to be stopped. And then we also do preventive maintenance. We give so many vaccines to the babies. Vaccine against diphtheria, tuberculosis, flu, etc. So maintenance is something which is required by every human being, every animal, every pet, every machine. And in organizations, we use a lot of machinery. All this machinery needs repair. Look, dear students, in a organization there are various resources. Human being is one resource, machinery is another resource, materials are another resource. Out of all the resources, which is the costliest one? Machinery. Maximum investment, I mean, after leaving land and building, the maximum investment goes into machinery. Machines are very costly, and these machines, they have to be maintained. Maintenance is an activity which gives maximum return. Understand that. Maximum return comes when you spend a little money on maintenance. Take a small example. Let's say you have 4 or 5 cars and you give them as cabs to 4 or 5 drivers for running on the roads. On the day when a cab is in working condition, your driver will come and pay you something like 2000 rupees or 3000 rupees at the end of the day. This is after covering his cost of living, after covering his fuel cost. Still, he pays you 3000 rupees per day on a particular day. If one of the cars is not starting, then what happens on that day? Naturally, the driver also loses wages on that day, but you, the owner of the car, also loses 3000 rupees on that day. And the defect which is there in the car may not cost that much to repair. Perhaps all that is needed is change of spark plugs. 4 spark plugs are there, each is costing 250 rupees. So in 1000 rupees, I can buy 4 spark plugs and maybe pay another 1000 rupees to the mechanic. And in 2000 rupees, the car can be back on the road. If you spend that 2000, maybe for the next 1 month, you keep getting 3000 rupees per day. Look at the returns. Can you get so much return in any other activity? No. In buying and selling, you don't get that much. You buy a product for 1000 rupees, you have to sell it at 1100. Your benefit is just 100 rupees on that. But in maintenance, when you spend a little money, the benefit that you get is several times of that. Not so much percentage of that, several times of that. So maintenance is a very important activity, very beneficial activity, and any human being or any organization which neglects maintenance pays a very heavy price for it. Even for your own body, when you neglect maintenance, you lose earnings and you lose much more money because later you have to take very expensive treatments. So never ignore maintenance, either for your own body or for your assets, for your buildings, for your car, for your furnace, for your oven, for your machines, for your gadgets, for your mobile phone, for your laptop. Never ignore maintenance. Maintenance is absolutely essential. Now, maintenance involves various activities. Look at the screen. It says the four activities in maintenance management are repair program, breakdown, preventive, and corrective maintenance. Now, try to understand the concept behind each one of them and try to understand what we are supposed to do in all this. The first word that is mentioned here is repair. Repair is required when something is not working at all or something is not working properly. So there is a car. It is refusing to start. It needs maintenance. It is starting but making a lot of noise, and the brake, when you apply, there is a huge screeching noise which can be heard for 2 kilometers. I can say the car is still working, but it's not working properly. So when the equipment doesn't work or it works but works improperly, then you need a repair. Repair is a skilled activity. It requires two things. One, it requires knowledge about the machine. Secondly, it requires many skills. Look at the screen. You will find a young boy trying to repair a computer. He has to have some knowledge. He must know where is the hard disk. He must know where is switch mode power supply. He must know what is the meaning of a red wire, what is the meaning of a black wire, and what does a green wire do. These are the items which he must know. He learns that in his diploma or in his course. Besides this knowledge, he also needs skills. Knowledge you can get from textbooks also. Yes, tomorrow you can go to the book market in Sultan Bazar, buy a book on PC maintenance. You will get all the knowledge. Still, you will not be confident enough to open a PC and repair it, because along with knowledge, repair requires skills. Various skills are required. For example, one of the major skills required by this technician will be the soldering skill. How to make proper contacts between a wire and a connector, or between two wires. He should know how to make it. And he should have the skill of desoldering also. When a contact has to be removed, how should it be done? Like that. For all maintenance, whether it is car maintenance, microwave oven maintenance, laptop maintenance, you require knowledge as well as skills. So, repair program is that program of the organization where they plan that when our equipments need to be repaired, how do we go about it? Just now I told you that the technician requires knowledge and skill. Is there anything else required? Yes. Two more things are required. One, test equipment. You cannot start repairing something without first testing it to find out what is wrong with it. Let me give you an example. You go to a doctor and you say, Doctor, I have fever. Doctor doesn't say, come on, roll up your sleeve and take this injection. If he does that, that's a wrong procedure. What is the right procedure? He should prescribe certain tests. He should say, go to the diagnostic lab, test the following parameters of your body. Depending on what symptoms you have described, he may prescribe one ultrasound test, one blood sugar test, one radiological test or X-ray, and you will collect those diagnostic test results, come back to the doctor. He will study those reports, then he will say, come on, roll up your sleeve, I'm giving you an injection, and now these are 6 tablets. You have to take the green tablet in the morning, red in the afternoon, and blue in the night. That is a course of treatment he prescribes. So what has he done first? Diagnosis. Just as for coronavirus, we are conducting tests. Similarly, when an equipment is down, you should not take a screwdriver and straight away open it. You may be doing wrong things. So always the required tests may be conducted. For a PC, because PC is a very simple equipment, testing is not very complicated. I will test continuity of electricity, I will test the condition of the SMPS, and then practically I will know, okay, what needs to be done. But for a more complicated machine, more complicated testing is required. Now, students, just as for human body, I described so many tests to you. I said ultrasound, radiography, blood glucose. Similarly, for machines also, we conduct several tests. And these tests use quite sophisticated equipments. Just as radiology is used for human body, radiology is used for engine cylinders also. Ultrasound is used for human body for diagnosing faults in the abdominal area. Similarly, that is used on automobile shafts also. So, before you can initiate the repair program, you must test the equipment. Either you take it to a test lab where the test can be conducted and you can bring a report, or you must have the test equipment in your own organization. If a particular equipment, large numbers are available within your own organization, it makes a lot of sense that you should keep test equipment for that item in your own factory. That equipment could be a signal generator. It could be a digital oscilloscope. It could be an audio analyzer, whatever it is, whatever is needed. You must keep those equipments in your own organization. So, besides skill, knowledge, you also need test equipment. And fourth, you need the spare parts. Even if all the first three things are available, ultimately, for doing the repairs, you also need spare parts. So you have to plan what spare parts you need, and you must keep them. Spare parts are not tools. Spare parts are different. On the screen, you are right now seeing some tools. For example, there is a nose plier here. There are two screwdrivers here. These are tools. Tools are needed for doing the work. But spare part is that part which goes inside the machine. Here one SMPS is lying, switch mode power supply. This is a spare part. This will be fitted at this place, and then the PC will start working, right? So you need all these things for repair. Let's recapitulate. You need technician with knowledge and skills. Second, you need diagnostic equipment. Next, you need spare parts. And fourth, you need the required tools also. When all this is there, then the repair can be carried out. Now, if I ask you, what is the process of repair? The process of repair, you have to say, it starts with diagnostics and testing. You must diagnose and test and keep a record of the test results. Why record is necessary? You will see in a few minutes from now. So first you do diagnostics, carry out the tests, and record the test results. Then you dismantle the equipment. What this technician has done just now, he has dismantled the equipment. The PC is in open condition now. He has dismantled. After doing this, now he will remove the faulty spare. This spare he is going to remove. He will take this new spare and put it in that place. After that, he has to again test it. The second level of testing is required to check whether the defect that was found earlier has disappeared or not. If your second test shows that the condition of the machine is same, then two possibilities are there. Either your diagnostic is wrong or your repair is wrong. Then you have to repeat the whole exercise once again. So this is the process of repair. Dear students, in most of the organizations, we make either products or services or both. In an organization, all can be also made, that is products, services, as well as both combinations. But there are a few organizations which don't do any manufacturing. They also don't do any servicing. Their job is only maintenance. Yeah, there are such organizations also. Here is an example. When you go to Kazipet railway station, the Kazipet junction, you will find a huge department called Kazipet Locomotive Shed. All the locomotives from all over India, diesel locomotives, electric locomotives, and in olden times, even steam locomotives, when they need repair, they are brought to Kazipet. They are the people who are experts in this. They repair locomotives for the whole of Indian Railways. It's a very extremely important activity. They don't manufacture locomotives. Manufacturing is done by Telco. Jamshedpur, there is a plant, Tata Electric Locomotives. They make the locomotives. Some locomotives are also imported by India, but maintenance of locomotives is done in Kazipet Loco Shed. So you can understand how important it is. In TSRTC, Telangana State RTC, at Raniganj, there is a maintenance department. So when any bus in the city requires maintenance, it is brought to Raniganj bus depot. There they have the technicians and spares for maintenance. So this is the importance of repair. It has to be done for a manufacturing organization as well as servicing organization, and there are specialized organizations who do only repair work. In fact, a hospital is also that kind of organization. It does repair of human bodies. So this was about the repair program. Now in the previous slide, you will see that the next is breakdown maintenance. After that, we will talk about preventive and corrective maintenance also. So what is a breakdown maintenance? Breakdown means the equipment has practically stopped working. So either it is not starting or some such vital part has got damaged that it is now under breakdown. Breakdown doesn't mean the brake is down. No. It means the equipment has failed. The breakdown happens when any one or more than one parts of an equipment fail. We are not talking of human failure here. We are talking of a part failure here. So each and every part inside an equipment, it has a probability figure which tells us what is the probability of this part failing. Understand? Now you will understand this concept with a small example. Let us say I have an equipment in which one of the parts is an LED, light emitting diode. This is used as a generator of little light, which is then sensed by a sensor, and based on that we may be deciding whether the cabinet door has been closed properly or not. So one of the parts is an LED, light emitting diode. As long as that light emitting diode is glowing, your machine will be able to sense that the door has been closed and therefore the machine can start. Now imagine this LED has failed. It gets the voltage, doesn't glow. What will the sensor think? Sensor will think that the door of the machine has not been closed and therefore it doesn't allow the starting circuit to fire. So you will not be able to use the machine. Look at this situation. What has failed? Not the machine, not the door. Just an LED has failed. The cost of the LED is less than 10 rupees. Because that LED has failed, the whole machine costing 20,000 rupees, I am not able to use. This is breakdown. Now the question is, what is the probability of an LED failing? Are you getting me? What is the percentage probability that the LED will fail at a particular time? It depends upon the age of the LED. If the LED is very new, I had replaced it just last week, the probability of failing may be very small, 2%. But if the LED has already been used for 1 year, then the probability of its failure may be much higher, maybe 50%. Now, different parts, they have different lifespan, and based upon their lifespan, based upon their reliability, based upon their initial quality, the probability of failure for each and every individual part goes on always changing. You cannot give a single figure that for this part the probability of failure will always be 2%. No. When it is very new, it will be 2%. It will gradually rise to 5%, 10%, and in 1 year it goes to 50%. Like this, each and every part, the probability is changing. Now, my next question is, for the total equipment, what will be the probability of the failure? That will depend upon the probability of failures of all the parts inside. Because when any one part fails, the whole equipment fails. Just like the human body. If the heart fails, the man dies. If the kidneys fail, then also the man dies. If the liver is infected, then also the man dies. So, equipment has a breakdown when any single part or more than one parts they fail. Then breakdown happens. So, breakdown maintenance means when a failure takes place, then I send the equipment for repair. Then repair is carried out by some technician like this after proper diagnosis. Good. Now let's look at the other types of maintenance. The next type of maintenance is preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance says don't wait for a breakdown. No, don't wait for a breakdown. You take preventive measures so that the breakdown doesn't happen. We will start with a small example. When you have a fever, when you are unable to come to college, you go to a doctor. He does the diagnosis, gives you some injections, a few bitter pills, and very unhappily, you will swallow those pills. In 3 days, you come back to college. This is breakdown maintenance. Preventive maintenance is different. Preventive maintenance means you must prevent the breakdown itself. So, what should you do in order to remain healthy? What should you do? Well, obviously, your health level depends upon two things. One, what you eat, the diet, and secondly, your exercise. Any one of these two things, when it is not proper, either your diet is improper or your exercise is too less, then there is more possibility of breakdowns. Which part will break down? Well, I can't say right now, but some breakdown is bound to happen. So, if you want to prevent breakdowns, what you have to do? First, you have to be careful about your diet. Take less sugar, take less salt, eat more green vegetables, eat less fats, eat more proteins. This is about the diet. And secondly, you have to take a lot of exercise. So you must get up in the morning, put on your jogging shoes, go running to the gym. Now don't drive to the gym. Huh? I didn't say drive to the gym or ride your bike to the gym. Wrong. You must put on your jogging shoes Run to the gym. In the gym, do some treadmill for half an hour, do some sit ups, push ups, work on the exercising machine to build up your biceps, to strengthen your legs. If you do that each and every day, you can avoid the breakdown. You can be fit more period of time. It doesn't mean that sickness will never come. Yes, still it will come, but the duration of non-sickness, duration of healthy life will be much longer, and your frequency of falling sick will come down to a very large extent. This is preventive maintenance of the body. Now let us translate this to the preventive maintenance of a machine. For a machine, I want to avoid breakdowns. So what are all the things I should do? Well, dear students, the first step is cleaning. Just as hygiene is important for a human body and an animal, your pet cat or pet dog, similarly, cleaning is extremely important for a machine. When a machine is constantly being used, it keeps on getting dirty all the time. Oil is spilt on that. The machine is touched with dirty hands. The controls become contaminated. Lot of dust settles on the moving parts. There are several moving parts like belts, chains, wheels, sprockets. On all these moving parts, the dust keeps on settling. This dust, this dirt, this contamination, it doesn't remain there quietly. It attracts more dust, more grease, and also moisture. A piece of steel which is not dirty will not attract moisture. It remains dry. But a piece of steel which is already dirty absorbs moisture from the atmosphere. So what has happened now? We started with dust, dirt, and contamination. To that, moisture gets added. And the last part is that this moisture and dust mixture starts circulating within the moving parts of the machine. So it does further damage. That is what leads to breakdowns. So before you can guess it, the chain breaks, the belt breaks, a gear breaks, and that is a major breakdown for which you will have to spend thousands of rupees. So what you should have done in order to avoid this? You should have started by cleaning. Cleaning is the first part of maintenance. All the exposed parts, all the moving parts, they must be regularly cleaned. Second, lubrication. Moving parts which come in contact with each other, they have a tendency to rub each other and cause wear and tear. Wear and tear can be substantially reduced when you apply oil and grease to the equipment. Here is a small example. On the main door of your house, there is a lock, padlock. You have been using it for several years, and after some time, when you turn the key either towards the left or towards the right, it goes on becoming harder, 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 and one day the lock either doesn't close, so you need another lock, or worst thing is when you come back from outside, the lock doesn't open. So you are outside, your goods are inside, and your cat is inside, and cat is crying. Very horrible situation, right? Why it has happened? Because inside this lock, there are so many moving levers, 6 levers or 8 levers, depending on the sophistication of the lock, size of the lock. 6 or 8 levers are there, and these levers are all moving parts. You have never bothered to put any lubricating oil. So one day the lock has a breakdown. Similarly, all moving parts of the machine, the bearings, the belts, the pedals which you press in your car, the handles of the doors, the window panes of the car, the belt which runs, the radiator fan, these are all moving parts. So we have to constantly lubricate them. This is second part of the preventive maintenance. Now comes the third and the most important part. This is where there is a marriage between maintenance and information technology. Information technology can contribute substantially to preventive maintenance. Are you surprised? Yes, it is surprising, but I will explain this concept to you in a few minutes. As I told you a short while ago, in every machine there are so many parts, and depending on how long they have been used, the probability goes on increasing. The probability of failure goes on increasing. So, in your maintenance management system, in your server, if you keep proper records of which part was replaced on which day, if you keep proper records, then the maintenance management system will be able to predict when the probability of failure of a part has become too high. So let us say there is an LED in your equipment which has already been used for 1 year. So your maintenance management system will now alert you that this LED has already worked for this much time, it should be replaced. So when you get that alert, you will open the machine one day. At that time, there is no breakdown. The machine is still working, but you will still open it and change that LED like that. Every month, if you go on doing replacement of all the parts who are now likely to fail, then the breakdowns don't happen. Or even if they happen, they are very few in number and they happen after a long time. So this is how use of information technology will help you to do preventive maintenance. The last concept here is corrective maintenance. Now, what is corrective maintenance? Corrective maintenance is done on that equipment which is not under breakdown. It is still working, but there is a defect which is causing problem to you. Here is an example. In your house, you have a cake oven which is used for baking cakes. On the cake oven, you must have seen there is a temperature controller. So your recipe which you downloaded from the internet said keep the temperature at 180 degrees Celsius and bake the cake for 45 minutes. You did that. You kept it at 180 degrees Celsius and baked for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, the cake was not brown but black. It got burnt. So, what is wrong? Your temperature setting is wrong. What you are seeing on the dial is wrong. This is a case for corrective maintenance. This is not breakdown maintenance. This is not even preventive maintenance. This is corrective maintenance. So in maintenance management, we have repair program, breakdown maintenance, preventive and corrective maintenance. So with this today's class, I would like to conclude. If you have any questions, please unmute your mic and ask.
No, sir, no questions.
Thank you, Ayesha. I am happy that today we had, we had 4 students. 4 is not a good number, but still it's okay. I would like to thank Afreen, Ayesha, Sandeep and Hrithik for attending this class. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow. You may log out now.
Thank you, sir.